We must radically change the structure of a tax system that still treats our earnings as the personal property of the Internal Revenue Service. Some years ago, an historian, I believe, said that every time in the past when a government began taxing above a certain level of the people's earnings, trust in government began to erode. He said it would begin with efforts to avoid paying the full tax. This would become outright cheating and eventually a distrust and contempt of government itself until there would be a breakdown in law and order.
$30,000 studying Ugandan gambling habits. We're studying why people gamble in Uganda, why there's a black market in Uganda. Well, you know what? I think we know the reason. When government oppresses business and regulates business to death, they go to the black market. So if you make something illegal, you often get more of it. But we spent $30,000 traveling over to Uganda to study their gambling habits. Utter waste of money. We should not reward these people with more money. We spent about $500,000 on a video game. This is an app for your phone to teach them alarmism over climate change. So you can click on the app and it'll scare you to death that California is going to be underwater in about 100 years. None of which is true, all of which is alarmism, and $500,000 spent by the government to alarm our school children's not a good idea.
Death and taxes may be inevitable, but unjust taxes are not.
This next study points out a problem with funding in general in our government. You give funds for something that ostensibly might be a good cause. So a couple of years ago, they gave money for autism, $700,000 for autism. You think, well, autism, even myself, as conservative as I am, I could probably say, well, that's something we ought to study, autism. Well, they subcontracted 700 grand of it to a bunch of egghead researchers to watch Neil Armstrong's statement on the moon. You remember the black and white photo? He's on the moon and he says, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, or did he really say one small step for a man? So these researchers took $700,000 to listen to that crackly old cassette recording and find out, did he say man or did he say a man? So we studied the preposition a, and we spent 700 grand listening to the tape over and over and over again. And you know what they determined? They just can't decide. They're unsure, but they did recommend more money to study the problem further.